Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody who's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and a response from Nextbridge Hydrocarbons to a shareholder's letter of questions, including a question on financial remedies to resolve the MMTLP fiasco, amongst a number of other important questions. We're also going to be looking at ticker symbol RKLB Rocket Lab, stock that we have been watching, and we're going to be looking at earnings beat and a new price target. And then also we're going to have updates for SMCI and also look ahead to earnings for Nvidia. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets. And earlier in the previous week, we could see that US inflation was up from 2.4% to 2.6%. So obviously it's still not fully under control. If we have a look at the history over the previous 12 months, we can see this is currently the first increase for quite a while, up from September 2.4% to 2.6%. So the markets were a little bit mixed in terms of the week ahead. We can see here Bitcoin hit approximately 93,400 on Wednesday. Currently right now at time of editing, it's trading at about $90,000. We still have tensions in the Middle East. In terms of the CPI US inflation data, the forecast headline was up 0.2%, which is exactly what we saw. And other news now, let's move on to SMCI. And from Barron's, we can see here that the stock has seen a group take a large stake ahead of a potential delisting move for SMCI. I believe the stock was up quite significantly on Friday, close of market, and I think the rumor is they have got some kind of move to keep the listing, so we will have to wait and see how that plays out. So in terms of Nvidia from Yahoo Finance, we can see that the stock rally stumbles with the Nvidia earnings on tap and what to know this week. So there was a question in the Discord about Nvidia and in terms of how we can see the earnings. So as far as I'm concerned, obviously a lot of this is going to depend on demand for Blackwell in terms of Nvidia. If the demand for Blackwell, the numbers are obviously quite good, then we can see the stock go up quite significantly. We know demand for Blackwell is going through the roof, and that's basically, I think, what the earnings are going to quite significantly depend on. Let's start by having a look at ticker symbol RKLB Rocket Lab. This is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel. So we're in our live trading and alert section in the Discord. We've got news of a price target increase to $22, and we also shared information in terms of one of the reasons for this was because of a reported increase in earnings in the release. And we can also see here also from CNBC, Rocket Lab stock pops 25% after company reported strong revenue growth. So great news there. So if we have a look at the chart for the close of play on the Friday, it was up close to 9.45%, closing at $19. And if we look back at the chart over the previous 5 days, we can see there was a pullback, and at one point it was coming up from increase of $22 down to around about $18, and again a nice finish on the Friday. But if we have a look at the chart for the previous month, we can also see it's up close to 70%. So the medium term chart for Rocket Lab is still exceptionally good. And I'm going to give a shout out here to Elon Musk, who's been tagged in by Alex and stated that Elon appears to be trolling Rocket Lab. So that is potentially bullish. So what Elon is stating here is that there must be something wrong with this chart, but I can't quite figure it out. So let's have a look at the chart in question, and we can see here Electron looks to be the fastest commercially developed rocket to reach 50 launches, beating many of the others. So great news there for Rocket Lab especially. And now let's move on to earnings. So if we have a look at the earnings, first of all, third quarter 2024 financial results, they posted 55% year-on-year growth and guided to record revenue for the fourth, and looking for record revenue in the fourth quarter 2024. So let's have a look at the prediction here from the earnings, and we can see they're looking at revenue between $125 million to $135 million, and gross margins between 26% and 28%. So overall, basic shares outstanding just in excess of 501 million. So looking good for a long-term hold on Rocket Lab, but this is also a stock that is quite volatile, so certainly needs to be traded with care. But if there is a good pullback, certainly a good stock for the long term. So before we look at the response from NextBridge Hydrocarbons to the shareholder letter, there was a Form 10Q also filed earlier in the week. So let's have a look at a quick summary in terms of the items amended in the filing. So first of all, the quarterly report on this Form 10Q from NextBridge Hydrocarbons is for the 9 months period ending September the 30th, 2024, including the consolidated financial statements. So if we have a look at the key amendments, what they're basically saying here is it relates to an impairment analysis with respect to the Oro Grande properties. We know that those are not going to be renewed from December 2024, and during the period 2023 audit, they're obviously in terms of the fiscal year and the consolidated financial statements, the Oro Grande impairment adjustment was made December the 31st, 2022, and arose from circumstances that continue to apply as of September the 30th, 2024. So there will be significant changes here in terms of the assets going forward. What the company have also stated that it was in the best interest of the company and the stockholders to engage in a new independent public accounting firm, and they're looking at M&K CPAS PLCC. So it looks like they are making an important change there. And the triggering event that they've also stated here is the potential expiration of the mineral lease related to the Oro Grande project on December the 31st, 2024. That is being noted in this 10Q, but I think what is most interesting here in terms of the items amended, what the company have also stated here in the final section I've highlighted, is that negotiations and discussions with the lessor are in progress, and there was no assurance of the mineral lease would in fact be renewed before December the 1st, 2024. So it looks like NextBridge are still in a little bit of a fight behind the scenes to keep hold of these assets. So hopefully that continues successfully. So before we look at the NextBridge Hydrocarbons response to the shareholder letter, let's have a quick recap of the shareholder letter. So this was sent from Sergeant Major Daniel Oxier from the US Army to Greg McCabe and NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and we can see here in terms of the subject, it's a request for information from Sergeant Major Daniel Oxier, US Army, AST EQ, and he has 20,075 shares. So he states here the purpose of his letter under Texas law is that shareholders have a right to request information from companies, especially in cases where corporate actions or inactions appear detrimental to shareholder value. So that's what he's stating. So if we go on to section 5 of his letter here, we can see that he's also stated in terms of question 1, has the transfer agent AST, now obviously known as Equinity, and EQ confirmed that NextBridge Hydrocarbons has all 165 million shares of NextBridge Hydrocarbons, previously MMTLP, and that have they been delivered, transferred and recorded? Obviously, I think as far as I'm concerned, that answer is not clear, and I don't think they have all been transferred, because many brokers are holding these in street name. So it also goes on to say if NextBridge Hydrocarbons is considering further stock dilution to resolve any outstanding share imbalances. So is that something that they can answer? But I think the interesting point here is he also goes on to say what legal or financial remedies is NextBridge Hydrocarbons exploring to resolve this issue. And I think that's the key that everybody's looking for, a resolvement in this with resolution that is fair to all the shareholders. With regard to Equinity, he states the NextBridge Hydrocarbons advises that the shareholders registered with Equinity, and the question is this still optional, and can you clarify? Because there has not been a direct response. And what he states here under question 3, NextBridge Hydrocarbons obviously recently lost the university lands in terms of the Oro Grande assets. Please address first of all the reason for the lease termination and any alternative revenue sources. So that's what he stated there. And the final section I'm going to share with you here is question 5, and what he states here is that NextBridge Hydrocarbons secured a $2 million loan from Capco Holding at a 12% interest rate with an additional 250,000 stock options as collateral. Mr. Plant also secured a $10,000 per month consulting role. Please address the following: justification for the loan terms, independent oversight, and alternative financing. Was it considered? So let's now move ahead and look at the response. So Nexbridge Hydro government have now responded to the Sergeant Major, and they stated, thank you for your recent inquiry and your request for information. The answers to many of your questions are addressed in our public filings and press releases. These include the status of the leases, well production, financial data, acquisitions in the onshore Louisiana Gulf Coast area, and more. For the viewing ease, all the documents and others have been made available on their investor relations page, and also with Edgar. So they also state here that as an SEC reporting company, we cannot provide answers or information to you which is not publicly disclosed, but we do file regular reports and regular press releases informing the public. We urge you to fill out the online investor email form to receive notices of them. So that's the response from Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, and what the Sergeant Major has stated is, first of all, response received, then he's waiting for RFI to be answered, and step 1C, clarify Nexbridge Hydrocarbons position, and then there's going to be a follow-up email. So let's have a look at the follow-up email. So what he stated here is obviously key legal entitlements. First of all, headings under the Texas Business Organization Code, Securities Act of 1933. So he's basically saying that the company should disclose material information to shareholders, reinforcing transparency and informing shareholders about corporate actions that may affect their investments. And he goes on to say, obviously quoting the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, Rule 10B, and this is with regard to prohibiting fraud or deception. So potentially a strong allegation here, and he states here he looks forward to a substantive response to his questions supported by relevant documentation. So I'm not sure Greg or Nexbridge Hydrocarbons will provide that, because they are going to only refer to the SEC filings and the public press releases that have been shared. And in the next email that Sergeant Major Daniel Oxia has stated here is he's following up on his previous email from November the 11th, and he has now stated he's not received a response. So could you clarify the following? If first of all, are you currently working on addressing his questions? Do you need additional time? And if the company has decided not to respond, please confirm that as well. So that's what he stated here, and he finishes off by basically saying he invested $70,000. He is a lawful shareholder. He's entitled to transparent answers, professional answers. He needs to be treated with respectful, professional approach in any direct communications, and he's just basically seeking responses to questions, and obviously has waited 2 years for this. And finally, I'm going to share you the last post from the Sergeant Major, and he stated while he's waited 8 days from Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, the next thing he states here, it couldn't hurt anyone to reach out to the Nevada Securities Division and AAG office. 1, to discover the process for the books and record check, and 2, discover that NV laws apply for shareholders. So he's carried out an additional step there. So let's see what happens. But I think some important questions there, but not clear direct responses from Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, and I think they will have their reasons for that. But I think it is now, many shareholders are now growing very, very impatient in terms of lack of clarity, more information. And I think the biggest question everybody wants to know is, when will we get our resolution? If you'd like to join us in the Discord, details are in the description below. We will be sharing the next week's weekly watch list, and as well as a copy of the daily stock alerts, which you will get Monday to Friday. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.